because one pit bull has an immense amount of determination. 11 of them, you can't stop them. So that's the mindset, is like, I'm pressing on no matter what. My wife said, I'm not letting you quit no matter what. And I said, I have no intention of quitting. The only way I'm stopping is they put me in a box.
Welcome to Career Coaching Secrets, the podcast where we talk with successful career coaches on how they built their success and the hard lessons they learned along the way. My name is Davis Nguyen, and I'm the founder of Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, and even $100,000 weeks. Before Purple Circle, I've grown several 7- and 8-figure career coaching businesses myself, and have been a consultant at 2 career coaching businesses that are doing over $100 million each. Whether you're an established coach or building your practice for the first time, you'll discover the secrets to elevating your coaching business.
Welcome to the Career Coaching Secrets podcast. I'm Kevin, and today we are joined by Shawn Michael. That is his real name, by the way. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
My pleasure. So I want to dive straight into it. Give me your origin story, the lore behind your coaching career. What made you kind of realize, hey, this is something I really want to do and make a business out of it?
So it actually, the genesis point, we'll say, is about 12 years ago. I moved out of the United States. My wife and I packed everything we owned, drove across Mexico, and moved out of the United States. We had lived in the country of Belize for about a year. One plan, we were going to build a farm and buy property and all that, but none of that worked out. And all of our savings, about half of it was gone, and we moved to Guatemala, where I live today. At that point, I realized I need to find some income generating activity. I can't just live on my investments. So I started an online business with at the time it was a multi-level marketing company. And I signed up for a course. It was called Core Success Coaching, and it was neuro-linguistic based coaching. And it opened my eyes, and I was like, wow, this is life-changing. These techniques, this understanding of how we work. So it launched me on a journey, because I finally found thing that was my purpose, my calling in life. My whole life, I've been a helper. I've always wanted to be a helper. I later discovered that that's one of my top values, is helping other people. So I started on the journey, started building my coaching, signed up for training with Robbins-Madanes Institute, which is Tony Robbins and Chloe Madanes, because it was teaching some of the transformations like Tony uses. Those big transformations where people's whole life shifts. And I was doing that. I was earning income doing web development because it was something I'm good at. It's not something I love, but I'm good at it and it pays. And one day, my last web development client quit on me. And we just found out my wife was 9 weeks pregnant. Between those two things and persistent imposter thoughts that, I'm not good enough, who's listening to me anyway at the time, I put everything on hold. Took a job tutoring English to earn an income because I wanted something that would support my new family. 7 years I did that, or 6 years. 2020, New Year's 2023, that call was in my heart again saying, what happened to your dream? And so I told my wife, I said, I'm pursuing it. Our son's 7 years old or 6 years old now. He can do a lot of things on his own. He doesn't need our attention constantly. I want to go after my dream of coaching. And that year, I went back to all my training, finished all my training because I had put all of that aside. November, I went to a Mindvalley conference called Super Coach Immersion, which was life-changing. And actually on the third day, they asked for people to talk about what they'd gotten from the event. That day, my Facebook popped up with a reminder saying that 7 years ago, I had given a live speech on a Facebook, Are You Disrespecting Yourself? And I realized right there that for the last several years, I had been disrespecting myself because I wasn't following my dream, following my call. So that was the start of my coaching journey and the restart. Like I told you before, take 2. We're in 2 now.
Yeah. I was like, take 2. What a dude. I was automatically lured in. And so as you are on your second journey of your coaching arc, how did you kind of discover, I know you're just starting too, but how did you kind of decide who you wanted to help? Or are you still trying to figure that out right now?
No, I pretty much got it down to mid-level, smaller founders, C-level men who are successful on the outside. Like everybody looks at him like, oh, he's doing so great. He's so successful. But inside he's dying because actually one of my big, hairy, audacious goal
Harry.
is to reduce male suicide by 1%, because way too many men take their lives because they're unhappy, they're unfulfilled, in spite of success, in spite of, wonderful, what seems like a wonderful career.
Sounds like that goal is like has personal meaning to you as well.
It does, because when I was working in corporate before I moved out of the US, I had never dealt with childhood trauma or any of that garbage, and I basically blew my life up. And on the other side of that, when it all blew up, I was distraught. I didn't know who I was. I thought about taking my own life, but through the deep self-awareness, that deep personal work, and having people around that support you and encourage you and lift you up, I rebuilt my life.
And so let's go back to your coaching business for a second. How do you find these people? Like, let's talk about the marketing aspect. How do people usually find you, I guess? Or how do they find out about your work?
So I have a podcast that I launched November of last year called Daily Power Boost, Ignite Your Potential. I have I think it's over 300 episodes now, because it's been an almost daily episode. They're short, to the point, focused, targeted, actionable podcast episodes. And it's pushed me and helped me find my own voice. I haven't booked any clients through it yet, but I also know that with podcasts, it's not like you turn a podcast on and they start knocking on your door.
Yeah.
For me, it's been a lot of working out the marketing, because a lot of the traditional marketing, cold DMs and that, and I've read all the stuff and it just doesn't thing with me.
Yeah. So it seems like your main marketing channels right now is like content marketing through podcasts.
Content marketing, yeah. The podcast, I have a Substack that I publish on today called True North, LinkedIn content, where I also have a live show once a week. A lot of it's trying to find my way that works for me.
Let's talk about that for a second. What do you feel like the hardest part? What do you feel like has been the hardest part when it comes to finding clients for yourself in your journey?
So I would say there's two sides to that. The first is everybody can benefit from coaching, but nobody's shopping for coaching. Like, people don't log into LinkedIn or a podcast and say, oh, I'm looking for a coach. I need a coach. Like, that doesn't happen very often. It does, but it's very, very rare. Trying to get a pulse of what people really need. And a lot of that is, understanding what I needed in my life has been for me. The support, the problems I had to solve on my own because I didn't have a coach for many, many years. For me, I think mostly it's been building relationships. As I said, I've been doing my LinkedIn Live for a while, and I've had some where all the stats on the live stream platform showed 0 audience. But I stayed consistent. Yeah. I just kept getting up, getting online, doing my closing it down. Today, I've noticed a very loyal audience. I can count on certain people to show up every week. And based on the comments, I can see my primary goal. Of course, I want it to be a business. I want to earn my livelihood from it. But my top goal is impact. And I've seen that over and over and over again, where something I shared on a live, something I shared in a post, somebody made a comment and said, wow, my whole vision of my life just shifted. And that, to me, is my main goal.
And so I'm kind of curious, like, I guess within the next few years, right? Where do you want this coaching business to take you on? Like, do you have any secret dreams or big ambitions that no one knows about? Very curious about that.
So I would say the big dream that's maybe not directly mentioned, but not secret, is I want to be able to spend more time with my son. I have a pretty good amount of time to get to spend with him. He always says, he prays every night, like, I'm praying for daddy to get clients so he can spend more time with me. And because that's like that's one priority. Like, I have Thursdays, I don't publish content. I think I publish my podcast in the morning and that's it. I don't take calls on Thursday usually. That's family day. Like that's dedicated. Put the phone on, do not disturb. That's like my non-negotiable. Is that one day a week, no calls, no nothing other than spending time with family. So the dream is to be able to travel. I had the privilege when I was young to travel all across all Singapore, Philippines, Thailand, Japan, Korea, into Kenya and Middle East. My dream is to take my wife to some of these places that I've been, and now my son, to let him see the world. He's 7 years old and he's already been to 4 different countries. He's got more stamps in his passport than most of his family members do.
I don't know if that's oh my God. I hope he remembers it. But back to your coaching business for a second. What do you feel like would need to happen for you to consider this the best year ever for you?
To make this the best year ever is if I was working with 3 to 5 clients, seeing a shift, see them have more embodied confidence, more fulfillment, better relationships. Because a lot of times I think people look at like, oh, this is my business version, and then this is my home life version. And I've seen people who, when the business succeeds, the relationships fail. When the relationships are failing, the businesses. And that doesn't have to be it, from what I know, is you can have a successful relationship and a successful business at the same time. But often the subconscious scripts that are running prevent that. So if I can be working with 3, making an impact on people's lives where they're having better relationships with their children, with their employees, if they have employees, and providing a reasonable income for me and my family so I can take them to Singapore or Japan or whatever and stay in nicer. It doesn't have to be 5 diamond or whatever. I don't even know how high it goes nowadays.
I think it goes by stars.
Comfortable places. Here in Guatemala, 5-star is like Motel 6 in the US or something. I don't know. It's not that bad, but 5-star here is not the same as 5-star in other places.
Oh, dude, 5-star here in Asia it's like way better than star in the US, to be honest with you.
I've heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's play a game.
All right.
It's called Good Investment, Bad Investment. What's the best thing that you spent your money on for your coaching business, and the worst thing that you kind of wish you got your money back?
So best thing, hard to pin down one thing. First spot would probably be investing in the RMT training, because even if I never sign a client, it improved my life and it improved my family's life. Like my wife she's my main client. She's not just my wife, she's a client. And we just got notification today that her first book is live on Amazon.
Congratulations.
And that's huge, because for 30 plus years, she's like, I'm not creative. I'm not creative, she kept saying. Now she's written a book and she's working on her second one. So to see the healing and the growth in her has been huge. And part of that has been because of that investment that I made into that RMT training. The second investment was that conference in Austin with Mindvalley, because it majorly shifted me. Like I did not come home the same person I did when I left. Better husband, a better father, a better person from that, and very solid in who I believe I am. Bad investment. Just before I went to that conference, I invested in a very prominent internet famous coach that will get you to 10K months. Just follow our process. The process turned out to be a bunch of videos in Facebook and weekly calls where I was like, hey, me, like trying to get my words in. And when I commented on the Facebook posts, it felt like I was yelling into a cave. Nothing, no response other than my own echo. And thankfully it wasn't a huge investment, but it still stung.
If you don't mind me asking, no names, but how much did it cost you at that time?
2,000.
Where they got that number from? That's a
well,
really odd
I think
number.
they had 2 options. They had the, like most programs, right? You have a pay in full price, and then you have a multi-pay. Sometimes it's a 2-pay, a 3-pay. They had a pay $100 a week for 26 weeks.
I see. And that's where 2,600 came in.
Yep.
Got it. So Shawn, you've been on 2 coaching arcs, I guess. If you had to give your advice to, I guess, maybe day 1 Shawn, like during the first arc about starting coaching business, what would you tell him to do within the first 90 days, knowing what you know now?
To do in the first 90 days, get out there and build relationships right away and keep showing up, even when it feels like you're yelling into a cave.
This is not on my list of questions, but I did want to ask you this. As you are posting content, and maybe you're not hearing as much as maybe you're not getting the engagement that you want right now. What keeps you going, I guess?
I call it pit bull mindset. So pit bulls have a bad name. Everybody's scared to, so many people are scared to death of pit bulls, because they kill their owners. But what I learned, because my wife and when we first got to Guatemala, we rescued dogs. And she got a call one time to rescue a pit bull that was being abused. The owner was putting cigars out in the dog's head and whacking it with a 2x4. She went up, told the dog. She told our police friend, like, hey, you might have to come help me because I'm going to steal this dog that's being abused. They're like, hey, we got your back. Don't worry about it. You're covered. And when she picked the dog up, it had 10 puppies. That dog was the sweetest, most amazing dog. Trying to contain 10 pit bull puppies was a nightmare. Like they were constantly escaping. The pit bull would go visit the neighbor. My neighbor would call me. He's like, hey, Canella's over here again. She's playing with Shadow. Come get her whenever you're ready. Because one pit bull has an immense amount of determination. 11 of them, you can't stop them. So that's the mindset, is like, I'm pressing on no matter what. My wife said, I'm not letting you quit no matter what. And I said, I have no intention of quitting. The only way I'm stopping is they put me in a box. Because as I said before, Kevin, my main goal is to impact people, to help them shift something in their life. And I know I'm doing that.
How can you and connect with you and follow you on your journey growing this coaching business?
Simplest location is Shawn Michael. It's got all my information. It's like, my online business card. They can also find me at realmasteryhub.com, which is my community that I've been working on building, that is about building a community that supports you, lifts you up, challenges your thinking, because part of my podcast is challenging the common growth myths, the personal growth myths.
Shawn, it was so great having you on this podcast. And, what's really interesting about this podcast is like, most of the guests that we have are kind of like established coaches and stuff like that, or they're looking at scale. But you're on the other end where you're just like, man, this is my second time going into this and I really want to make this work. And I really applaud you for, one, your mission about like helping other males and reducing male suicide by, I think you said 1%.
1%.
It is a huge
minimum
right now. Yeah, hopefully more, but there's that. And then just keeping on, you're like that. You're showing up every single day. That's really something to be admired, actually, as well. So I just want to recognize you for that as well.
And I appreciate that.
Thank you so much, Shawn.
Thank you.
That's it for this episode of Career Coaching Secrets. If you enjoyed this conversation, you can subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're listening to this episode to catch future episodes. This podcast was brought to you by Purple Circle, where we help career coaches scale their business to $100,000 years, $100,000 months, or even $100,000 weeks, all without burning out and making sure that you're making the impact and having the life that you want. To learn more about our community and how we can help you, visit joinpurplecircle.com.